I'm here at my local Whole Foods market. I'm in front of the meat aisle, and I would like to talk to you about what it means to be vegan in today's society. It's a little bit of a controversial topic today, but it's one that's very important nonetheless. I'd like to offer you some alternatives to the meat-centered diet that is the standard American diet, and what it means to be taking the path of a vegan diet. Join me on a little bit of a discussion and talk today, and hope to be of value to you so that the quality of your life can increase. Hi, I'm back home now, and there are two parts to this discussion. The first part is what is the standard American diet, and the second part is what it means and what the implications are of being vegan in today's society. First of all, we were raised, all of us in this Western society, in a capitalistic structured society, which is a meat-centered society. And it's not just the meat industry that dominates our culture, it's also the many industries, but the war industry, the pharmaceutical industry, there's dairy and tobacco, a lot of industry that is in a dominant position in our culture and our society right now. And this stems back to the word capitalism or capita, which comes from the word capi originally, but capital and capita comes from the word head in Latin, referring to a head of cattle. And so the whole money system, our whole society, is based on this notion of ownership and ownership of livestock being a store for value. And if you really take a moment to think about that, what you could come to the conclusion of is that deep in the fabric of our society, meat and animals, and seeing animals as objects and not subjects of consciousness, but objects of consciousness, has led to the objectification of the female energy of, by the male energy. So that's the female male dynamic of domination, and that's not necessarily man woman, but that's the energetic masculine and the energetic feminine, the feminine being dominated by the masculine as the structure of our patriarchal society. And it goes back to a cow is human property. And in that a cow is human property, a cow does not have value on its own in being a living, breathing, sentient, intelligent being. So once you've flattened that world, then it's just a number and just economics at that point. The more you have, the better off you are, the more value you own in society. And that's why we keep eating animals in order to numb ourselves from the fact that we are hurting our planet, that we're hurting ourselves and hurting our planet. Eating animals is a way of it's an act of disconnection to the reality that all living beings are part of the universal heartbeat of the earth. So whether it be a sea creature, which has been studied to be very intelligent, form schools, and have organizational patterns that are more highly evolved than humans, dolphins with comprehension higher than humans, in certain tasks, higher than human children, all the way to the emotion that is emoted by cattle whose young has been whose calf has been taken away from it, and for murder. The calf will go into the leather calfskin industry, into the what else? The veal industry, where they're not allowed to move. Oh, it's also that they're a product of the dairy industry, because in order to create dairy, a living child has to be born and thus killed, sold by weight to various industry men. The whole point is there's a sick cycle and culture that is disconnected from the truth that we can live a compassionate and interconnected, harmonious life. And that realization that you don't have to kill to be nourished or feel full or experience joy is a complete transformation and shift in the paradigm of the society. And so it's really a controversial and dangerous perspective as perceived by the stockholders of the industries who profit from the status quo, that, you know, keep smoking, keep going to war, keep drinking milk, keep eating meat, keep taking pharmaceutical drugs. There's a lot of people who are making a lot of profit from cancer, from AIDS, from heart disease, the number one killer, which can be, the heart disease can be prevented through vegan diet, meaning that the body heals itself, and without meat, you're taking away the obstacle, and hence we can live in our optimal health. You have the opportunity to be an anarchist in a sense, and go against the grain of what everyone else is doing unconsciously, because of the cultural programming that we've been born into. And so by voting with your dollar and making choices about the actions that you're taking and what you're deciding to put inside consuming in your body, you are effectively using your dollar as a vote for the future, the world that you want to see. And if you study the documentation, you study the science, the literature, people who've devoted their life to the various subjects, the animal welfare, the health benefits, as well as the environmental impacts of a vegan diet, you will see that the vegan choice is a lifestyle, it's a philosophy, and it goes really against the status quo that so many people are unconsciously perpetuating, because that's the culture that they've been born into. So by going vegan, you're making the boldest choice possible, if I dare say, in this society. The boldest choice. And it's really an amazing feeling to discover, hey, wait, I actually don't need meat. Actually, I feel better in my body when I don't eat meat. I actually have a deeper appreciation and understanding and knowledge about what the implications for the environment are when I don't eat meat. I understand now that 1 pound of beef is equivalent to 6 months worth of showers in terms of water consumption, resource consumption on our world. To produce 1 pound of beef is the equivalent of taking a shower for 6 months. So you start to see, wow, we're having a water crisis, and yet I don't even think that the steak that I had for lunch could be contributing to that. And then you have the health benefits as well, where we're seeing that the leading causes of death can be prevented through a plant-based diet. And I covered that it's because your body wants to naturally heal itself. So when you remove the obstacles, you let the healing happen. I just wanted to keep the video pretty short like this, about 10 minutes long. And so I'll recap that we're living in a culture that we were born into, that was preset before we arrived, and that is fundamentally based on the notion of capitalism, which is the head of cattle, which is seen as an object, and the ownership principle associated with that, the dominance of the male over the female energy. And so this is something that unconsciously we've had to swallow all of the implications and the destruction on the earth and on our bodies, so within, so within, as without, as above, so below. What we're doing to the livestock, what we're doing to the turkeys, the butterball turkeys, and feeding them so that they're so big that their feet break and they can't even walk, is what happens to the people who consume those butterball turkeys. They become so rotund that they can't even get an erection. So we're seeing the consequences of a mistaken path, and you have the opportunity to vote with your dollar and with your action, with your choices, to sow the seeds for a new world, because what you sow will grow into the future and bloom into the future world. And the making a vegan choice is going to have an impact environmentally and for the welfare of the animals, who are living, breathing beings who deserve to live their own purposes on Earth and not be merely a plaything of our intentions. You get to see that as a vegan, the environmental, the health, and the animal rights aspects. But you'll basically just feel better about yourself, feel better in your body, feel more connected to the earth, have a deeper understanding of how the earth works and how the stars are aligned, and what your choices impact what their impact is environmentally. And you'll feel a deeper connection, emotional connection, to not only animals but all animals, including the human animal. And I could wager that you will just feel happier and more connected and more grounded. So I really hope that some of the ideas that I shared with you today may have lit up a light bulb or two, and that you will consider making choices that are more compassionate, that are vegan and plant-based. Feel free to ask me any questions in terms of how you can make a vegan diet delicious, like more tasty than a average diet, because you're focused on the quality of the vegetable, and so it's so delicious. And I hope to speak to you soon about more topics. Let me know what you think of this video in a comment below. Take care. Thanks.